Welcome to On the Sofa with Monja and Anna. I'm Anna and I do love to accessorise. So when it comes to kilts and the myriad of different options available, I'm in heaven. So tonight we're going to explore the many accessories that finish off a Highlander outfit and the history behind them. With Thelma from Germany, I can see you're there already. Nice to see you. Monja is virtually with me. She trained in fashion and worked in our Edinburgh store and is here to help us with her fabulous styling skills.
Hi, I'm Monja, and as Anna just said, I studied fashion here in Scotland. In our Edinburgh shop, I love seeing the different accessory options come together to make unique kilt outfits. I'm a big fan of the bright colours and unusual combinations to make a modern Highland wear look. So today we'll be talking you through a traditional kilt outfit from head to toe. So we're starting with the different types of tie first. So we offer several different types of tie for different occasions. The bow tie is great for an evening wear, a more formal event. This comes as a pre-tied bow tie or a self-tie, depending on your confidence with tying it yourself. A black satin bow tie is perfect for a black tie event with your Prince Charlie jacket, although tartan bow ties also look great when matched to your kilt. Otherwise, we have tartan neckties, and these suit any occasion and are more commonly worn with the argyle jacket and in a matching tartan to your kilt. So we've got a lot of people joining us tonight. So we've got Greg in Scotland, and we've also got Rebecca in Florida. We've got Tara in Haddington, Lee in Florida, and Laura in Maryland. So hi to everyone joining us. Thank you.
So the next stage down is your kilt jacket. We could spend all night talking about kilt jackets, but we maybe save them for a special evening devoted to them. But the basic styles are, I've got them with me, so you can go for a classic black argyle jacket, and then there is the Prince Charlie, which you would wear for a more formal occasion, and that's worn with a waistcoat. And then there's a lot of different tweed options, which are really popular these days, and a nice kind of combination work well for day and evening. And this is an example of a tweed jacket and waistcoat there for you.
So next up, we've got the fly plaid. And as you may know from our first week on the sofa, the kilt has been around since the 16th century. And in those days, a kilt was a long piece of fabric that was draped around the body and belted at the waist. The fabric left over was then draped over the shoulder and gathered in the belt at the front. However, over time, the amount of fabric used in the kilt was lessened, and so the fabric that was once draped over the shoulder evolved into its own product, now known as the fly plaid, which Anna's got on the mannequin there. Traditionally, a fly plaid is worn with a kilt and either a Prince Charlie jacket or an argyle jacket. The fly plaid should be made in tartan that matches the kilt and is worn draped over the left shoulder. It's pulled through the epaulette on the jacket and pinned in place with a brooch. The corner of the fly plaid should be pinned in place at breast level with the brooch, and the rest of the cloth should hang down the back of the wearer, finishing slightly below the kilt. So to secure your fly plaid, our clan crest badges are always a good option. If the fly plaid has been pinned in the correct place, it should sit comfortably in place all day, giving the wearer no bother. Our fly plaids are made to the dimensions of 1 metre by 1 metre with fringed edges and can be made in either 10 ounce, 13 ounce, or 16 ounce tartan, ensuring that you can choose the right weight to match your kilt. As we discussed in our fabric and weaving session last week, colours can vary slightly from mill to mill, so if we didn't make your kilt, it is worth checking with us which weight to choose just so you match properly.
And next up is your belt and buckle. And the belt and buckle wouldn't necessarily be the first consideration when you're thinking about your kilt outfit. However, it is often forgotten about, and we get a phone call at the last minute that someone suddenly needs one, or it can be the cause of confusion about when you wear it and how you wear it. In some instances, the belt and buckle are a vital piece of Highland wear and shouldn't be forgotten about, but there are a few rules before you step out in yours. So the first and most important rule is that the kilt belt should only be worn with an argyle jacket, so this style here, and should only in the absence of a waistcoat, so your argyle is just a simple jacket. And the idea is that it covers fills the gap between the shirt and the kilt, and it would never be worn with a waistcoat, and it wouldn't be worn with a Prince Charlie jacket, which, as you see, has the waistcoat there. The kilt belt isn't actually used for very practical reasons. Normally you would hold your trousers up, whereas we would fit your kilt correctly so it sits nice and snugly on your tummy and shouldn't need a kilt belt to hold it up unless you're doing some really wild ceilidh dancing. However, although it's not worn for practical reasons, it is a traditional part of the kilt outfit, and that's why they're so popular. And hundreds of years ago, when the Scots wore the great kilt or the filamore, the single piece of fabric, as Monja mentioned before, it gets gathered together. It was gathered together, belted at the waist, and it had some rough pleats, untailored pleats to the back, and the rest of the cloth is thrown over the shoulder and pinned or worn as a cloak or a cape. The final thing to remember is that your belt wouldn't go through the belt loops on the back of your kilt. You'll have two big belt loops, but actually these are loops to hold your sporran in place rather than your belt. And your belt buckle should sit centre on your kilt and be lined up with your sporran to create nice smooth lines. If you're not really a kilt man, then don't worry, you can still have a kilt belt and buckle because it looks great with a pair of tartan trousers or trews. And there's no specific rules about what kind of buckle you could have, and we do some generic buckles such as thistles and lion rampant and saltires, or you can also choose to celebrate your clan and have your family clan crest on your belt buckle as well.
We've got Kay and Kate also joining us from our ScotlandShop family, so hi to you both. So next up, we have the sporran. So what is a Scotsman without his sporran? The sporran is functional and decorative, and it is an essential part of any kilt outfit. As a kilt provides no pockets, the need for a sporran was born. Although we do have to admit that we have added pockets to a kilt on special request from one of our customers in the past. The first sporrans were made from deer skin or calf skin and were more of a simple drawstring bag like what's on the screen now compared to the decorative products that we all know nowadays. What once held ammunition and daily rations now holds credit cards, mobile phones and the odd hip flask with whisky. There are a few different styles of sporran and with varying degrees of formality. So the first one we have is the day sporran, sorry. It's more of a casual sporran. These are made entirely from black or brown leather and are used for less formal events. These sporrans may be worn with tweed day jackets, perhaps while supporting the rugby or attending the Highland Games. Decoration can take the form of metal studs or etching into the leather, like the sporran that's on the screen. Next up, we've got dress sporrans. So these are worn at formal events, such as weddings, and would be typically worn with your Prince Charlie outfit. They're traditionally made with animal fur, such as seal skin, and decorated with tassels made in the same fur. Although we can make them with faux fur as well. A key feature of the dress sporran is the metal cantle fastening made from silver or pewter. And last up, we've got a semi-dress sporran. So these are less formal than the dress sporrans. They're usually worn with argyle jackets or argyle outfits, and as the name suggests, semi-formal occasions. The semi-dress sporran is also made with fur but has a leather lid folding over the front rather than the cantle of the dress one. So sporrans are worn on the front of the kilt, hanging by light chains or leather belts. It should hang approximately 4 or 5 inches and no lower than a hand's width from the top of the kilt. Your waistcoat buttons, tie, belt buckle and sporran should all be centred and create a straight line, like Anna's showing you, down the middle of your outfit. So, and we also have Rebecca asking us if women wear sporrans.
So we do actually have a lovely women's variation. You can wear a sporran, absolutely. I wore a sporran on tartan day. I had one made in the New York City tartan to match my mini kilt. So yes, you can absolutely wear a sporran if you would like to. It's not only men that can wear them. And we also do a ladies' variation with a kind of double strap, which you can wear either as a sporran or you can lengthen the strap and wear it as a handbag or purse as well. So it's quite a nice option. So moving on, we have the kilt pin. So why would you wear a kilt pin? And they are more than a bit of bling, they're more than the flashy bit on the front of your kilt. They are very much there to serve a practical purpose and to stop the front apron of your kilt from blowing open and showing off whether you're a true Scotsman or not. The custom of wearing a kilt pin came in during Victoria's reign, and the story goes that the Queen gave her very own brooch to a soldier who was struggling with his kilt in windy conditions. And kilt pins feature clan symbols, national emblems, native animals or plants, whatever. Lots of different options for you there and no rules about what you can and can't wear. But they were also worn very much in days gone by to show how wealthy you were. So the more ornate and decorative your kilt pin was, the wealthier you were. And this also served a purpose if you were killed in battle, as your kilt accessories could be sold to cover your funeral costs. Charming. Traditionally, a kilt pin is worn on the right side, as you can see on this one here. I'll just turn him around a little for you. And you position your kilt pin 4 inches from the bottom of your kilt and 2 inches in from the fringing on the side. And if you make sure the kilt pin is purely through the top, through the apron, and don't pin it down to the other side, because otherwise you risk damaging your kilt if you put it through all the layers. And as I said, yeah, you can represent your clan. You have a clan crest variation, or this one has the antique thistle. So very much down to your personal taste.
Hi to Tasman joining us from our Scotland Shop team, and also to Lisa and Mike. So next up on our kilt outfit, we've got the kilt socks or hose, which are traditionally worn pulled up to cover the calf and sit just below the knee. They're made longer in length so they can be folded over the elastic of the flashes. And this creates a cuff of usually about 3 inches on your socks, just like the ones Anna's got there. For a formal event, it's standard to wear ecru or cream coloured socks with a Prince Charlie jacket. Alternatively, tartan kilt hose are good for a formal event as well, usually to match your kilt. For a less formal occasion or a daytime event, it's standard to choose a solid sock colour that complements your tartan or highlights a colour in the set of your kilt, although some people do just go for a total clashing colour.
And on to the flashes. Kilt flashes were first used back in the days of the Filamore or the Great Kilt, as men wore socks to keep their shins warm. However, they found that their socks were falling down constantly throughout the day. So to stop this problem, as you can see on the screen, they started to tie a yard of tartan ribbon around the socks under the knee, and the ends of the ribbon would hang down from where they'd been tied. And modern flashes are worn the way they are today to mimic this original style. There's also an old folklore legend that says that kilt flashes were worn to show the man's marital status. So legend has it, if a man's kilt flashes were displayed, this meant he was single and available, whereas if his flash hidden, this meant that he was married or courting with someone. So the kilt flashes are, it's probably easiest here to see it with the plain ones, are 2 pieces of fabric with a small V taken out of the bottom, and then they have the garter, the elastic garter around the top, which is adjustable. So they're referred to as garter flashes often. They come in a pair, so you get one for each leg. And they're very practical to hold your socks up and keep them up however wild you're partying. And the flashes should be worn on the outside of the leg, so just down on the very outside there. And as Monja said before, pull your socks up and then you fold the top over the flashes, just like so. So your flashes can be a solid colour, like these ones, or you can have them in tartan to match your kilt. This is another way to change up your accessories, make a statement if you want to. So you could choose a really wild colour of kilt flashes and to pick out one of the stripes in your kilt, or to create a completely clashing variation. Or you could use, if you want to show allegiance to two different clans, then you could perhaps wear a different tartan in your flashes. Or even if you've got a modern kilt, wear an ancient variation in your flashes, if you want to do something a little bit different. But again, there are no hard and fast rules around flashes. You can choose to wear them as you wish.
Next up, we have the Sgian dhus, which is a small knife that sits typically in the top of the right kilt sock, although if you're left-handed, then you would wear it in the left sock. The most popular theory is that the Sgian dhus originated from the Sgian Acklay, please excuse my Gaelic pronunciation, which translates to armpit knife. There was a slightly larger knife carried by the Highlanders, and it was worn underneath their jacket, hence the name armpit knife. In the 17th and 18th centuries, it was customary for Highlanders to reveal any hidden weapons to their friends or acquaintances when entering their home. So they'd remove the armpit knife from their jacket and place it at the top of the kilt hose. This meant that it would be visible, but it would still be within reach if they needed it. So we offer safety Sgian dhus, which don't come with a real blade, and these can be easily shipped or taken in luggage, which is great so you don't get held up at customs. Alternatively, we have introduced the popular Sgian brew, which is a bottle opener instead of a blade. So this is a great option to ensure you can open your beers all night, and is certainly a lot more useful modern day.
So onto your shoes and why the long laces. So we'll start off, people are often a bit worried about the laces on their brogues and how to tie them. So we'll give you a demonstration in just a moment. But starting with the brogue, the gilly brogue, so and the history behind the name. So the name does derive from the Gaelic, again, pardon my pronunciation, in Irish the Gaelic brogue, and in Scottish the brogue, meaning shoe of the low-heeled leather variety. And what defines it is the perforated decoration and the serrated edging on the visible edges. These perforations were very practical and originally there to allow the water to flow through, and you've got a nice, that's one of the very first shoes, leather shoes found, and so that's up on the screen there. So it's allowed the water to flow through as the Highlanders trudged through the wet and marshy ground. And in a fashion sense, the brogue today is considered a less formal shoe. The more broguing, the more perforations it features. However, when you come to kilt outfits and formal Highland wear, the kilt shoe will always carry that traditional detailing. The term brogue is also heard to describe the accents of the Irish and Scots, and this originates from the meaning speech of those who call a shoe a brogue. So you'll also notice, if you've got gilly brogues, that they have no tongue. So why do they have no tongue? Again, very practical, and it was just to ensure that the shoe would drain water and dry out quickly. So not so necessary in the modern day, but although the Scottish weather does change unexpectedly. But this traditional aspect of the design continues, but around 1640, Scottish layers did add a shawl tongue with a fringe to their brogues to add a touch of elegance, make them a little bit different. So let's move on to those laces, feared by those new to kilt wearing, and a continual area for discussion as to the correct way of tying them. But this way you can add a little bit of personalisation and your finishing touching. Mainly that's all around how many times you twist the lace and the positioning of the final knot. Now I'm going to attempt to demonstrate this to you. I hope you can see my little boy. I can't get one of his socks up, so I'm going to have to use the other leg just due to the way that he's standing. But I'll try and pull him a little bit closer so that you can see. Monja will talk us through.
Perfect. Just while Anna's getting him ready, just hi to Lee. And thank you for your comment that you're loving the history lesson and the beautiful tartans. We love our tartans as well. So Anna, I think is, yep, just about ready with our young boy there. So you would put your shoe on and tighten your laces as normal. Then you hold the laces at the end and do one twist. You pull the laces tight, still holding them at the end. Cross the laces over by putting the lace into the opposite hand. Then you would do 4 to 6 twists, keeping the tension in the laces. The twisted part should be about 1 to 2 inches or 3 to 5 centimetres long. Then you take the laces and cross them behind your leg. And then you would bring the laces back to the front and tie them in a normal knot, in a double knot. And then you should have a perfectly tied pair of ghillie brogues.
And this is where all the discussion is around, is whether the knot should sit to the side, to the front. So very much yourself, why don't you create your own style? So I think that comes to the end of our top to toe of kilt outfit accessories. So Monja is in charge of the questions. She can see your questions on the screen, so I'll let her shout them out and we'll see if we can answer them for you.
Perfect. So our first one, we've got a gentleman saying that he got a kilt for his 21st, but he can't quite get into it now, and he's wondering if there's anything that can be done without him having to buy a full new kilt.
This is quite a common question, and people often say, well, I'm going to lose the weight, but I just need something for this wedding. So we do, I've not got a pair with me tonight, I'm afraid, but we do a brilliant little accessory called a kilt strap extender, and it is literally additional length of kilt strap for you, and you can just buckle it on onto the kilt strap, and then it'll give you, and you can buy 2 of them for the 2 on your hip, on your waist and hip, and that'll give you another kind of 2-3 inches on your kilt, and hopefully enough to see you through. If you feel like you're not going to lose those extra pounds, which sometimes is the more realistic, then we can move the buckles on a kilt. We don't like to move them too much because we don't want to lose the look of the front apron and the line. But we certainly can move them a little bit for you, and it's always worth asking, and we can let you know.
So next question is, I don't have a clan crest, so what kind of kilt pin should I go for?
There's lots of options. It really doesn't, there's no hard and fast rules about what you should wear. So there's lots of things such as there's a thistle, a lion rampant, a piper, some different, those kind of generic crests that you can use. Or we also do an antique range, so we do a stag and a thistle and some other more in a brushed pewter. It's quite hard to see here maybe on screen, but if you want to see some links, we can send you some links to the product. But this is an antique finish, quite nice, a different finish as well.
So, thank you to Tara, who's saying she always learns a lot, which is good to know. It's good that we can answer some of the more difficult questions. So next question we have is, I've already got a kilt outfit, but I want to make it a bit more special for my wedding day. So what can I do?
And there's lots of different things you can do. So maybe if you want to modernise it or change it up a little, then something like the different coloured kilt tweed jackets. There's some really lovely different colour variations, and that can really modernise an outfit. or you might, or if you've already got a tweed jacket, maybe you want to go for a more formal Prince Charlie, something like that. A nice way to make the groom stand out from the rest of the wedding party is if he wears the fly plaid and the others don't. So that definitely identifies you as the special person on the day. You can also do some clever things with colour and different ties. Perhaps all of the wedding party wear one style of tie, or a plain tie, you wear a tartan one or a different colour, or so that, and you can do that with accessories like pocket squares and flashes, and tie all your colours in that way. So there's definitely lots of options, and we do love to chat weddings. So give us a ring or come on live chat. Do virtual appointments as well, so you can come online and chat to us, and we can show you all the different options. And once the shop's open, you can come back and see Monja and the rest of the team, and they'll walk you through them as well.
That's what we spend most of our kilt outfit appointments doing, is choosing the colours of flashes and all the accessories. It's not so much choosing the kilt tartan that's the issue for most people. So our next question is, what are the essentials for a kilt outfit, and what can you actually skip if you're maybe trying to keep the cost down initially with your kilt outfit?
So the essential is obviously your kilt. If you don't want to buy a jacket, then you could go maybe for a waistcoat, or you don't even need to have that. If you're going to buy the kilt and your jacket, then the other elements you don't need to have. You don't have to have a Sgian dhus. You don't have to have a kilt pin or a belt or a buckle, or these kind of extras. So definitely start with your kilt and then build. You can even buy, if you don't want the jacket, you can buy just the black waistcoat. It's a really nice option. Looks really smart, shirt and a tie. And it's really nice then for other maybe members of your family or friends who can then help you to add to your kilt outfit. It gives them years of gift ideas to come. So that's quite a good idea to share with people if that's what you're going to be investing in. Then they maybe will help you out with all the little extras.
That is something we get asked quite a lot in the shop, is what's a good gift idea, maybe for the grandparents or the aunts and uncles to add on for a young boy getting a kilt for his 18th or his 21st. So we always suggest maybe the Sgian brew, which is a really popular item, and it's something slightly more unusual that the parents might maybe not have thought of. And we also do tartan hip flasks, which is great for popping into your sporran. Otherwise, you can get matching cufflinks to your clan crest kilt pin if you've got a family clan, which is always really nice, or maybe a different tartan bow tie or tie. Quite often people go for the black bow tie if they're getting maybe a Prince Charlie, so it's good to have maybe a tartan bow tie as a different option for some different events. So our last question, I think, is why or when would you choose brown brogues instead of black?
I've got a pair of brown brogues here to show you, because I think they're very nice and a little bit different. So there are no hard and fast rules. Again, it's really personal preference. I think it depends a lot on your tartan as well. For example, something like the Isle of Skye kilt there, that works really well with the tan or brown brogue, and you can tie in, if you want to, you can get a sporran then that matches these same colours, so you can really blend that through. We do a really nice peak tweed jacket again that you can start to coordinate if you want to go for more earthy tones. That's a nice option. And the tan ones are just a little bit different, so you don't see them as often. They're maybe more popular more recently, I think, actually. But yeah, again, very much down to personal preference. And we do, I forgot to mention them before when I was talking about the brogues. We also do a tartan brogue, so that's a really nice option and something a little bit different. So it's this traditional kilt shoe, but we replace the black leather panel with a tartan to match your kilt. So lots of different options, and that's usually what happens when people come into the shop. It's just like, wow, I didn't know I could have all these different things. So it's quite exciting, even for us who work here all the time. So I think, is that the end of all our questions, Monja?
Those are all of our questions at the moment, yes.
Okay, well, if you have any other burning questions that pop up later on, just post them online or send us an email and we'll answer them for you. And thank you again for joining us on the sofa this evening. It's always good to have your company, and we hope we've learnt lots. We'll be back next week exploring the world of tailoring, how our jackets and suits are made, the different tailoring options, and fashion and history behind them. So we hope you can join us next Wednesday and send us your questions and we'll try and answer them.